Wow. Oscar De La Hoya basically rules out a rematch with Devin Haney. Says that Devin Haney is a runner and he don't think there's a need for it. In this video, I'm going to break it down, let you know what was said. In a brand new interview with Fight Hype, Oscar De La Hoya laid it out. And he says he has zero interest in Ryan fighting Devin Haney in a rematch. Zero. Zilch. Nada. Quote, "No, that's not the direction we want to go. Zero whatsoever." And that was regarding a question about the possibility of Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. Quote, "It doesn't merit a rematch. Devin actually lost in winning against Jose Ramirez. His stock is super down. People are talking about him just being a runner, not a boxer. This guy Haney is a runner. Why would I want to see that?" Then in talking about a Ryan Roley rematch, he says, "That's exactly what I would do. So that would be the right move for Ryan. Go get revenge. So might as well." End quote. So De La Hoya believes that there's no point in a rematch right now. Ryan coming off a loss, Devin's stock is super down, and he believes the first fight was not really that competitive enough to warrant a rematch. So all things considered, he's saying X-nay on the rematch. Man, oh man. I find it very funny that people still try to challenge my knowledge and status as the best in the business, and it's not even close. Listen to what I say. Everything I say, per usual, checks out. I told you Devin's stock was down. I told you Ryan losing could perhaps mess up the rematch that they were talking about. I told you it was a mistake to put Devin with Ramirez, Ryan on the same card with Roley, and Tio Barbosa. Somebody was going to get upset, at least one upset. And I was right, because per the sports book, Ryan was favored to heavily beat Roley, and he gets dropped and loses. And then Devin, people thought it was going to be like, all right, he's going to show he's back and have a dominant performance against somebody, an aging fighter who hasn't looked good in a minute. And he doesn't even do that. So even though he won, it's almost like two upsets. You know what I mean? The whole idea of Garcia Haney has been upset with those two performances, especially with, I mean, at least Devin won his fight, but Ryan outright lost. So that's a wrap. And your boy Ego was telling you before the fight, remember that. That's why I always got to get on here and talk mush, because y'all be saying I'm wrong and then it comes out that I was right. So I'm going to remember what y'all said. But I told you, bad idea. Turkey, he has these like video game ideas like, oh, let's put a fight in the street. Nobody cared about that. That didn't, whatever idea you had in your head, I'm sure is better in your head than the execution that we all seen. The fights weren't good. Boxing fans don't need too much. We want good fights, high quality fights, high octane action, good compelling storylines, some entertainment, and we good. You know what I mean? We don't need no extra bells and whistles. We don't need like fireworks shows. All that stuff is extra, right? Give us a good matchup, quality matchup, meaningful fight, beautiful fight to watch. We good, right? And I try to warn y'all, you put these two fighters in, somebody doesn't look as expected, somebody gets upset. Now De La Hoya has almost an escape. Before, the whole world was saying Ryan and Devin need to mix it. But when you do what Turkey did, and this is what I warned y'all about, when you do what he did and put him in preliminary interim fights, overpay him, overhype the card, and then it doesn't live up to the expectations and the performances weren't revered, at least from the main event and co-main event with Ryan and Devin. Now, De La Hoya's found a way out. He like, yo, Ryan lost and Devin's a runner. Why should we ever rematch him? But before, everyone was saying that the rematch was already signed for October. Again, this is the error that I was telling you about. You announce all this stuff to the public gets excited, the public thinks like, oh, let's just get past this fight and we get another big fight because you're a blabbermouth, and instead of letting the plans be the plans or moving straight into a Garcia Haney 2, which is what I said they should do, now you're stuck with this, and you're stuck with the reality of we don't know. We may never see the rematch because it's all FUBAR right now. Devin didn't look good. He's at 144/147. Ryan just lost. De La Hoya's talking about a Rolly rematch. What if Rolly knocks him out in the rematch, right? Who knows how that'll play out? What if Rolly knocks him out? What if Devin ends up fighting somebody at welterweight and losing? He talking about fighting T.O. and his dad saying we want the boots fight and all that type of stuff. We don't know what's going to happen. So the first fight, definitely, in my opinion, we needed a rematch to really set the record straight. And then now boxing screws us all. We might not get that. We might not get a rematch, and they may go their separate ways, or do the Amir Khan Kell Brook thing where they fought, but it was nowhere near the magnitude of fight that it could have and should have been had it happened when it was primed and peaked, right? There was a peak time. But after we seen Amir Khan get knocked out several times, we seen Kell Brook get knocked out a couple of times, back to back even, with Errol Spence and Triple G, right? By the time they fought, it's like, all right, who cares? You know what I mean? And that's the same thing here. It's like, we needed closure for Ryan Pop Dirty. Make no mistake about it. Pop Dirty, we got to see that again clean, right? Just to see, because the first fight is like it didn't exist. It's a no contest. So we need to see and get closure. But then now, if you waited and they go separate ways, and Oscar now is saying he don't care about the rematch. He'd rather see the Rolly rematch because Devin is a runner. And I know some people, the usual suspects, they're going to try to push a narrative like, oh, De La Hoya, he's making excuses, calling Devin a runner, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, you can't deny what he's saying. He said Devin actually lost in winning against Jose Ramirez because his stock is super down. That's true. So you got to actually blame Devin too. I don't really like a person like De La Hoya. He's a promoter. De La Hoya is going to obviously cape for his guy. So you should expect that. You should expect him to fully back his own guy. That is common sense, right? So you got to blame the Haneys and their game plan, because how they fought did not impress a lot of people, not just De La Hoya, right? So you really had a chance and probably the perfect opponent to make a statement with, and you didn't come close to making a statement, at least to me. I don't know what you guys think, but you didn't even come close to making a statement with Ramirez. He looked like he couldn't pull the trigger, and you were too timid to try to figure it out and step on the gas and, you know, win more impressively. But the few small pockets where Devin actually took small stands and let some combinations go, it looked better. It looked better for him, but he was not confident in his ability to stay safe and not get hurt or something, to the point where he wouldn't have any kind of sustained offense, which was very weird. So while a lot of people, content creators, they're going to try to say, oh, but De La Hoya, he's making excuses, runners, you should expect that. You should expect him to cape for his guy. And you got to blame, like I said, you got to blame the Haneys as well, because if you really handle square business in a certain way, it don't matter what people are saying, they going to look foolish. But you gave an opportunity for them to take this back door. And of course, that's what they're doing, right? That's what they're doing. And here's the other thing. See, a lot of people aren't tapped into boxing like me. Some people are going to say, oh, Ryan and his side and De La Hoya, they're ducking Devin Haney. They don't want no parts of the clean rematch. But Bill Haney just put out Devin versus the world and put a list of basically a hit list. And he had all types of people from Shakur to Tank to Teofimo and Boots. And the last person on the list was Ryan Garcia. So it sounds like both parties don't really want the rematch next. Because if the Haneys were pressing for the Ryan Garcia rematch, why they put out a hit list and Ryan's name is last? Meaning like that's the last person on the list that you want to get to. So it's not just Ryan's side and Ryan's promoter. The Haneys themselves put out that list. It don't sound like they want to go into an immediate rematch, for whatever reason. So I don't know. I don't know if we'll ever get the rematch, but this sucks because it was the type of fight the boxing world deserved a rematch to know what happened. You know what I mean? And boxing finds a way to get it wrong and disappoint people. And it's so annoying. And what's more annoying is your boy Ego be preaching this stuff and telling you what it is. And y'all be saying, oh no, I don't know. I don't know if I can agree with that and all this stupid stuff. And then all of a sudden y'all don't show up in the comments when I'm proven right. I told you this was a mistake to do this Times Square card. You should have did the card and put Ryan and Devin against each other. I've been said that before the fight. The videos are still up. I don't delete nothing. That way, it don't matter if Devin lost or Ryan lost. Then we got closure for the first fight. Now we know what happened. Now with what it sounds like, we're not getting Ryan and Devin next. His own promoter doesn't sound optimistic at all. He literally said, that's not the direction we want to go. And in terms of a possibility of a Ryan Devin rematch, he's saying 0. So that's crystal clear what type of time he's on. Now, I don't know if Ryan feels different, but you got to chat that up with your promoter. He's saying Devin, his stock is super down and he's a runner, right? And again, Devin didn't do any favors because he did put on a flat performance, and a lot of people are calling him a runner. So even a guy like Turkey, who's the front man for the money, does Turkey want to make this fight and pay Devin an exorbitant amount of money and Ryan an exorbitant amount of money? So Ryan just lost, and then what? He gonna get $50 million for losing and getting dropped, and then Devin put up that stinker of a performance. You're gonna give him $35 million to move around and have a non-entertaining. So truthfully, I don't even know if Turkey still would want the fight, because Turkey, like I said, he make matches like it's a video game. So he'll probably graduate to Teofimo and Boots or whatever else. But it sucks for boxing fans because we really deserved a rematch, and doesn't sound optimistic at all from what I'm hearing. But let me know what you think and what you make of this. Drop it in the comment section. I'm used to it. This is how boxing works. There's always some dumb stuff. We unpack.